Now you get a chance to see how you can use vector shapes. Vector shapes are great because you can integrate some vector tools and shapes in with gradients and drop shadows and effects and all those other cool Photoshop features that you really like to use. So I'm taking the sunflower image and I'm simply taking my shape tool for the rectangle. And notice at the top in my options I have this set as shape layer. Now it's best if you choose a color that you want to use first in your shape. So if I click on the foreground color, I can just sample this orange color, or maybe I even want a more yellow color. And click OK. And then I'm going to click and drag out my shape. Now maybe this is a masthead for a magazine or an article or an advertisement, whatever it may be. I have now created something so simple, but it is a vector shape, and I can be guaranteed that if I save it in the PDF, EPS, PSD format, that it's going to maintain that nice vector crispness. Now, why would you do this in Photoshop and maybe not in Design or Illustrator? Well, even though you can use a lot of the blending modes in InDesign and Illustrator, sometimes it's easier to do those things directly in Photoshop. That way you can have the layers interact a little bit better with each other. In this case, I might want to fade out that vector shape. So you'll notice that if I pull up my layers panel, that what I have is this shape over here, and I can add a mask to it right inside of Photoshop. I can make sure that mask is active. I can take my gradient tool, slide this guy over a little bit, and I can click and drag to create a gradient in any direction that I want. Now in this case, I happen to want to pull this in from the right to the left, and I'm holding my shift key as I do that so that I can maintain a straight up and down gradient. If I don't like the fact that I can see the pen path, I can always click on that to hide that. Now why else would I do this? Maybe I want to apply an additional effect. A drop shadow, make the size a little bit bigger. But again, using the vector shape tools allows me to create vector shapes and yet have some nice interactivity with the rest of my layers. And I'm going to click OK. Now let's say that you want to create a custom shape, or you want to use one that's just different than the regular shape tools. You'll see that if I choose from the shape tools, custom shape tool, that there are a whole bunch of different shapes that I can select from. And I showed you this earlier, but I just want to review this. You can add a whole bunch of other shapes by choosing the panel menu, and you can choose talk bubbles, nature objects, all sorts of things. But what if you want to create your own? Well, this is relatively easy. And what I'm going to do is show you one that's created from a path right in Photoshop, and then show you how you can also create a custom shape from something that you've done in Adobe Illustrator. So first of all, I have the butterfly image open. I'm clicking on the Paths panel, and I'm just dragging and dropping the path over. Now, I'm not filling it. It's got no shape. It's simply a path. But look what I can do with that path. I can choose under Edit to define this as a custom shape, and I can call it Butterfly. Click OK, and then I can just hit the Delete key and get rid of that shape. I don't need it anymore. Now, when I have custom shape selected in my options up here, I can click on the little drop-down menu and I can find my butterfly. So let me go ahead and click and drag out. And you'll see that I create a butterfly. The color is the default color that I have in my foreground color, but I can just click on this thumbnail off to the left of that shape, and then I can just choose another color if I'd like. Now I'm going to go ahead and make another shape, and notice I can make these all different sizes, which is kind of cool. I can also go back up to one of these, and let me just open this up a little bit. Press Control or Command T, maybe rotate it a little bit, hit the return key to say this is what I want, and then if I click on another shape, I can press Command Shift T or Control Shift T, which is repeat my transformation again, and I can do this as many times as I want till I get that on the angle that I want. And simply what it's doing is taking that same rotation that I had done initially, and it's redoing it over and over again. So I'll take this shape up here and also do the Command Shift T or Control Shift T until I get that on a little bit different angle. Now I'm switching to my Move tool by pressing V and sliding this guy back up. What I'm also going to do now is add a shape from Adobe Illustrator.